Hello, gorgeous, glamorous people. Thank you for turning up again, and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll tell you about that in a minute, why I'm being so thing about getting subscribers to our YouTube channel. Now, today's segment is starting a business when you're older. Now, I've been asked a number of times by people, well, what do you do? You know, how'd you do that? Or, you know, how do I do this? Or, and I think to myself, well, and people have tried to encourage me to, you know, start a coaching business and do those sorts of things. But I don't know. I'm an influencer and an advocate for an age-positive movement. And you've just tuned in to Wallis Patterson on her YouTube channel, Bold Not Old, and Wednesdays with Wallis. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Without too much ado, I'm keeping an eye on the time. If you see me looking up, it's because I'm looking at the time. I can get, you know, carried away and I can wander off, you know, doing other things. Okay, first things first, before I get talking about starting a business when you're older, and today's segment, I want to cover off mostly on mindset. Because I think before you start a business for yourself, before you do anything, you might think you've got it all together. You might think, oh, yeah, no, I'm, you know, I've been in the corporate area. I've had jobs. I know what business is about. Blah, blah, blah. You know, I've got it all. And you might. But the chances are that you haven't. And you haven't got it all together. You haven't got everything. And, you know, it's an interesting thing, beginning a business when we're older, when we've, you know, got a few years under our belt. And all the things that come up if we want to do very, very traditional type businesses. Well, those of you that know about that know that if you're going to be doing very, very traditional type business, well, then you want to have people around you, you want to have help, you want to have staff, you'll need those things. You won't be able to do it all on your own. But if you're wanting to begin a business, be very entrepreneurial and begin a business for yourself, and you want to start from where you are and you want to start at home, like I have an example, a young friend around me who's been doing some quite alternative therapies and alternative energy healing modalities, and she's been doing a very, very intense course for this last few months. And I think the whole thing, you know, is about a year or so long. So it's not just any little frivolous thing. It's something she's been spending a lot of time and a lot of effort in that is costly. And it's also very time consuming. But at the end of it, she wants to start a business. She asked me a few questions today about that and said, how do I go about doing this or this? And my thing to her was that don't make it too complex. Don't get too carried away with all the things that you think you need, business plans and all those sorts of things. When I was younger, I used to put together, in those days, the big deal was, you know, business plan. There were people who did business plans and charged a lot of money for them. So over the years and the things that I've done, I've spent a lot of money. And I'm actually going to be doing a segment on Wednesdays with Wallis in this theme of starting a business for yourself. And it's well known and well documented that this whole area of beginning businesses when you're older and having a business when you are older is termed the silver economy. And why is it called that? It's called that because it is a big, big, big economy. It's a huge, massive economy in the world, this area of aging and starting entrepreneurial businesses and being in business for ourselves and creating, you know, side hustles, as I've written about at times in my magazines, which if you go to my website, there's some boldnotold.com.au, you'll see some magazines in there. And I think on a fairly regular basis in every magazine that I put out, Empowering Boldness, you'll be able to read about some of those statistics and the silver economy and those. But there's a lot on the internet. There's a lot to be seen. There's a lot that you can put your hands on. Don't exhaust yourself, because you know what it's like. It's never ending. Once you go down the rabbit hole, you could just never come out of the damn thing, because you'll get so caught up in all the things that you think you should know and you don't need to. Mindset is a big thing. My suggestion is 3 things. Make up your mind that you want to be in business for yourself and you want to start something for yourself. Go and look for what it is that floats your boat. I always say to people, and I say it to myself, and I've done it with myself over the years, don't begin a business. Don't start anything. Don't do anything unless you really love it and you're going to be there down the line. It's something that you're going to stick at. And look, it's like a friend of mine once said to me that just get a plan. You just start something, and as long as you love it, begin it. It mightn't be quite where you end up. When I started Bold Not Old about, 4 or 5 years ago now, I lose track of time with COVID, so I'm not sure whether it's 4 years or 5 years ago. But when I started Bold Not Old, I started out in fashion. I started out in style. I was very, very interested to see if there were lots of other women, lots of other people, dressing up, and that included men, because I like men's clothes. I think men have, access to fabulous things. They don't always look like they do, but they do have access to it, whether they want to access that or not. They get a bit caught up in, what people are going to say about them or how they're going to look. But look, they can look absolutely brilliant and absolutely fabulous. So men's clothes are brilliant. So I set out to do that. So that was a loose plan. That was a loose thing I wanted to do when I first started Bold Not Old. And along the way, I have tried out a number of things. I thought that I should take on coaching and coach women about online businesses. And, I got into all sorts of ideas and things and trying on things. And I think that's all healthy and good. Try them on, but don't spend a lot of money doing it, is what I'm saying to you. You don't have to spend a lot of money trying something on. It's a bit like going and trying on a dress or an outfit or a hat or a pair of glasses or whatever. It doesn't mean that you have to buy them, and most times it doesn't cost you anything to try them on. And that's what I'm suggesting to you. I want you to look at it in that way and go online. There's lots of things on YouTube. There's lots of things available to look at. You might have to do a little bit of research in your particular area. Back to the whole thing at hand about trying on what it is that you think you'd love to do. Try it on first, unless you're absolutely, totally committed to it and you know absolutely with no shadow of a doubt this is the thing that you want to do. You want to definitely do this particular thing, whatever that is. Otherwise, go and try on a few things, and based around those ideas or the things that you think you might like, go and have a go at that and try those on and see how they are. I want you to do that. Okay. I always try and make these segments about 10 minutes, so I don't want to make it too long. I wanted this one to be about mindset. I want to just have you get your head around the fact that it will be a little bit different for you than in the past. It'll be a bit different doing things as an older person. You won't perhaps get the same, I'm not going to say, I will. I'll come out and say it. You mightn't get the same respect. People might think you're a bit, they won't take you too seriously. You might come across those sorts of things. You might not, depending on the business that you're going to be beginning and depending on who you are and where you are already that might be a big issue for you, but it might. It might be that people around you think that, oh, well, you're starting a little hobby for yourself or something. And that's okay. Don't let that get under your skin, and don't let that whole thing about being a hobby, because it could be a hobby business, and that's okay too. There are lots of ways to earn money. There are people who run Airbnbs, and they're serious business. They're serious small businesses, those. They're not to be trivialized, but some people do trivialize them, but they're not. Very, very serious business. So it might be that type of what is termed a side hustle. You might be doing it along with something else that you're doing. We're going to talk about that in the future, but here's the really salient, important point I'm saying in today's show. If you're thinking about starting something for yourself and being in business for yourself, I want you to do it. I want you to do it, okay? And I'll help you as much as I can with some of my experiences and some of the things I'll do. And we'll talk about that next week in the show. That probably it will be, I'll probably term it, don't pay an arm and a leg. So I don't want you spending mega dollars, and there's ways to do things, get information, start things, even bring people on board to help you without spending a lot of money. So tune in to next week's Wednesday with Wallis to get that information. Thank you for watching. And before I go, I best do the little, what have I got on today? Well, a bit of jewellery by a friend of mine. This one's a Versace inspired, I guess I'll call it. And I've got a little jacket on with glitter on the shoulders, pair of bright coloured pants. This shirt is very, very long, and I've got some very, very funky boots on with it, and my hat. Today I love wearing hats, so every chance I get I wear a hat. I ended up in all black today, and I think the last one I did I had black on as well. A little bit different, and a bit different colour lipstick to match the nails. Ring on the finger from a young woman in Perth who makes this fabulous jewellery. A really out there watch. Tune in next week, Wednesdays with Wallis. Subscribe and listen up, because I'm going to come back with lots and lots more information about beginning a business for yourself, and I'll give you some statistics around that, a little bit of more grunt to it in the next session, in the next segment of Wednesdays with Wallis. Thank you for watching, and we will chat again soon, and she'll be chatting. She does all the time. Thanks. Bye-bye for now.